In my dream, I stepped into a life that wasn't mine. This is a story about psychological armor, the inner child, and self-transformation. In the dream, I seemed to become another woman, stepping into a life that was not my own. Cate was elegant and composed, mature in her presence, always the center of attention. I stood nearby, watching. He was a single father with 2 daughters. Their life was ordinary, yet every moment carried responsibility and love. I was not their mother, only a quiet observer of this family. Life went on. Love and responsibility flowed between them. Within this home lingered traces left by 2 mothers. Every object, every arrangement, held memory and affection. The ceiling lights came from a shop that had already closed. Each lamp still carried the light and memories of the past. Cate adjusted the chandeliers, refining their positions until everything felt just right. Light and shadow shifted. The space filled with her sense of beauty and creativity. The girls and their father looked up at her. Her presence illuminated the room like light itself, awakening a quiet curiosity in their hearts. In the corner of the studio stood a massive iron helmet, silent and unmoving. It felt like a quiet guardian, or a seed of creativity, waiting to be understood. When Cate noticed the helmet, a spark ignited within her. The space seemed to come alive. Some weight is not meant to be moved, but to be reinterpreted. Music began to play. The room was instantly touched by magic, and everyone was drawn into its energy. Cate put on the transparent astronaut suit. She looked confident and graceful, radiant, like someone standing under stage lights. Everything appeared perfect. She asked me,
"What do you think?"
Her gaze was warm and inviting, as if welcoming everyone into her world. I nodded and said, "It suits you." A simple sentence, an expression of admiration and encouragement. Suddenly, the younger daughter, Ingrid, became a small child again. Her innocence and anxiety filled the room with tension. Ingrid ran toward the scaffolding. I ran after her. Footsteps quickened. Emotion spread through the space. She clutched the transparent suit and burst into tears.
"That's my mom's! Give it back! Give it back! You're not allowed to wear it!"
Her crying broke everyone's heart. The room fell silent. I knew this was not a tantrum. It was grief. I lifted her into my arms. In my embrace, her sobbing slowly softened. The music stopped. The lights dimmed. Everything returned to stillness. Cate lowered her gaze to the transparent suit. Something became clear to her as well. Understanding and respect quietly took root in her heart. She whispered softly,
"So, it wasn't meant for the stage."
A quiet realization surfaced. At last, she understood the true meaning of the suit. With this psychological awakening, Cate slowly stepped down from the scaffolding, carrying understanding and respect with her. She walked toward the massive iron helmet, inspiration gently forming within. Inner insight transformed into tender, creative action. What remained was a trace left by experience. not something to keep wearing, and not an identity that belonged to her. Her transformation must be respected and properly held. Ingrid returned to her original age. She was no longer crying. Inner stability restored the balance of everything. She looked into the furnace and softly said,
Mom is in there.
She felt her mother's strength and steadiness. Cate picked up a piece of unformed metal. She chose her own fire, igniting creation and inner power. She turned and walked away from the stage. Creation begins with truth. On a beach at night, two female officers sat beneath a vast sky of stars.
One day,
One of them said,
I learned a word from a little girl named Ingrid. Her mother taught it to her. A word connected to the universe and the stars.
Starlight flickered. Some light is not meant to be worn, but to protect the flame. In Jungian psychology, the transparent astronaut suit symbolizes a psychological shell, a structure a woman forms in order to survive. It belonged to Ingrid's mother. When Cate wore it, it fit well, it looked beautiful. But she had not lived that life, and yet she wore it simple. In Jungian terms, this is called symbolic appropriation. It is not decoration, it is experience. Not everyone can wear it. When a persona puts on a life it has never lived, the inner child will step forward and stop it. Not everyone can wear this spacesuit. True creation begins with understanding oneself. Respect is not retreat. It is the soul knowing its place. The fire of creation and the inner self never truly dies. The little guardian quietly watches over every effort. The future holds endless possibilities.